understanding, I fixed, for the sake of understanding, I have fixed our class on Saturday. It's not compulsory, but honestly, I recommend everyone to be on in that class. Okay, so we can actually write these codes ourselves and see how these things works, and probably might even discuss more. It won't just be like a normal session and we are come and talk and talk and talk and talk, and probably in that class you guys will be the one talking and I'll be the one answering. Okay, and I also know, and I'm also aware that most of us are not yet promoted. Okay, also I'm also aware of that. Okay, so you guys should just be patient a little bit, please. Be patient with us. Okay, and you get you promoted to your appropriate stage. Right, someone has a question. Michael, you're on.
Oh, yes, sir. I have a question. I wanted to ask, will Saturday class be recorded?
Okay. I'm yet to know. I'm yet to know if it will be. You have plans for Saturday?
No. I don't have plans. But the thing there is that when the class is going on, assimilation is a little bit, we're getting to see these things for the first time. So when we can go back to the video and see it all over again, it really helps us. And the last Monday class has not been released yet, the video on YouTube.
Okay. All right. So I'll make inquiries about that, about why it hasn't been released yet. But I believe that it will be. I believe it will be. I'm really sorry for that. I'm really sorry for that.
Okay, sir.
Right, so today's class, we talk about creating, updating, editing, and deleting of posts. Okay, so I said that in the course of learning Django, okay, that we end up building a blog. Okay, so in today's class, we actually focus on the post aspect of that blog. Okay, that is the news aspect, also the post. Anyone. Okay. So in today's class, we focus more on it. So we focus on how we can create this post, update this post, edit it, delete it, not just from our command prompt or from the admin page, or at least from the front end of, okay, so where users can actually do these things on their own. Okay, so imagine you're going on Facebook and you have a post. You have to write your post to mark the post is for you. It will really make sense. Okay, so in our own application, we try to implement that where users can do these things themselves. Okay, and in the course of that, okay, we get to learn other new things as we proceed. Okay, so okay, without wasting much time, as usual, we'll open up our command prompt and then navigate to our projects folder, activate our environment, and put on our server, and then we open up our project folder in VS Code, and we start from there. Okay, so I know that we are already getting bored with these steps, but it's normal. We have to do it each time. Each time we want to start our class, we have to do it. So you just have to bear with me. Okay. So cd document slash KodeCamp. That's what it is. KodeCamp project. Within this, we have our environment, so we have to turn that on first before going to our project folder itself. Script about activate. Okay, and then we move straight to our project folder, which was my site in our case. Okay, and then we put on the server on the py run server. Okay, there's error in the spelling. Server.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I can see your screen.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I'm really sorry. Okay, you guys want to see it now properly, right? All right, so there's error in the spelling, and that is a run server. Okay. All right, so I've set up and running. Let's see. So I believe you guys can see the screen properly, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. I need to actually load up. Let's see. Sorry. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and hide this one. All right. So let's go ahead and open our project in VS Code. Mm, project. No, not the environment. So open in code. That's right. Okay. All right. So this is where we left off in our last class. No, not really here, but here, where we imported these views from Django.contrib.auth, and then we actually use these views for logging and logout. And on Saturday class, we read this code out ourselves. Okay, so it doesn't really look as if we're actually depending on Django all the time. And my VS Code keep importing things that I have no idea about. So I'll go and take this one out. Okay. Right. So in today's class, we focus more on the block aspect of this whole thing. So we focus more on it. And and the way I want to do this is not actually compulsory, okay, but the way I want to do this is to create another app, and that app I'll call it blog, okay, and that app will take care of all those things for us, all the posts and the editing, the deleting, and the updating of any posts. So that will be handled in that app. Okay, so we already know how to create an app. So I'll go ahead and create a new app. So I'll break this for now. I'll break this up. Okay, and then we create a new app called blog. And the way we do that, the command we do that with the command Python manage.py start app start app, and then the app name. And in our case, I will call it a blog. Nothing happens there because nothing should happen. But behind the scene, we have created folders with a bunch of files and codes. Okay, so we run our server again. And if I go to my VS Code, we have a new folder here called blog, right? So remember, the first rule of creating a new app, we register that app in our settings. In our settings. Okay. All right. So so far, the way we've been registering app is just writing the app name itself, right? The app name itself, right? Okay. So so that I'll show us how we do that in more appropriate way, in a more appropriate way. So in this case, so in the more appropriate way of registering an app is to actually write the app name alongside with the app config. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean in a moment, in a few minutes. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. So when you put on the app name, and then next thing you put is .apps, and then and then the app config, and which if you go to apps, you can see the app config, this app config. So you copy this whole thing here, and then down to the settings of py file, and then you paste this, and this should block the app, should block app config, right? Give me a moment, please. Right. So, can you guys hear me? Can you guys
Yes,
hear
sir.
me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
All right. So, I said they recommend, or the way Django recommend us to actually register our app is in this format here, all right? Which is the app name, which is blog in our case, dot apps, and then the blog configuration, which is this app config here in this app config here, all right? So that's the way Django recommend us we register our apps. And I'll do the same with these other ones. It's going to be the same thing. So it will be home.apps.home config with capital H, home config. Fig, right? Same thing with account, which is going to be accounts.apps and then dot account config, right? Account configuration. And Crispy form will remain Crispy form. That's how we start Crispy form, right? So this is a recommended way of doing this, all right? So I'll just paste this here. This is a more recommend. This is the way Django says we should do it. All right. So in this case, it's double C. Sorry.
Is there any meaning of the dot apps dot home config?
It's the same way of what we did, okay? But we're just saying that this an app, this account is an app, okay? And we want to go ahead and use this account configuration. That's this app configuration, which if you go to all these apps that we created comes with what we call apps.py. Right? So now we're actually saying that we want to add this app as well as and go ahead and use this app configuration in our Django project, right? You can still leave it the way it was, okay? But the way Django says we do it is the way I've just done it. So, okay, but it doesn't break the code. It doesn't break the code. All right, so you can leave it this way or you can leave it the other way that we left it. All of them works the same way. All right, so okay, so far if we take a look at our block page, okay, because at times our models need to be dependent on what we are given, okay. Our models need to be dependent on what we are actually given. And if you look at this, okay, let's see what do we have here. Okay. Right, so let me go ahead and load the actual site itself so we see what is happening. Log. All right, so this was the template. Let's index. Okay. All right, it's taking time to load. All right, so let's see what we have in. Let's see what we're having here. Okay, so if we look at our template, right? Because I want to make a model, right? I want to create a table that kind of match with what is going on here in this template. Okay, I want to make I want to make a table, okay, that matches this block. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do here. Let's hide this thing. All right, so far, if we look at this, we have an image that's a block image, the block date, likes, comment, and this should be the block title, and this should be the content of the block. Okay, and if you click on read more, it should take us to the blog itself. Okay, so something is happening here. Title, content, and comments. This one is having views, and this should be dates, right, when it was actually posted, and something down here. All right, so basically our table should comprise of a title, a content, and I will actually add the image for now because I want to treat this the way Django handles images is kind of different, right? So I will actually add image, but in later course I will add image, right? So for now, I'll add the date posted, the title, and content. The likes and comments will come in later. All right, so we go ahead and see what we have in the actual detail page. If we click on read more, we should have the entire content of the blog. It's taking time to load, right? So while that is still loading, let's go ahead and create our models. All right, so in the blog app, which is going to manage that, we're going to come here and create our model. Remember, to create a model, we have class of then class and then the table name. In this case, it will post. And then in bracket, we have to use the models dot model. Okay. And then the field. So we have the post title. Okay. We have post title. We have post content. In this case, post content. Okay. And we have, let's see, I think we have there. Okay, so this is the actual detail blog. The author. Okay, we have the author of who owns this post. All right, I think this where I saw the author of the post. Fortunately, I can't find it right now. So we have author of this post. So let's see what we have. All right, so this where we have author. If we look at this, we have author there. That's the author of that post. Even with that, the way you want to create a blog is in a way that someone could sign up on our blog page and then post something, and then we should have that person's post. Like we should hold that person's post, right? That post should carry the person's name. So we will go ahead and add the author of this post. Okay, author of the post, author of this post, and then the timestamp. Okay, timestamp of this post. Okay. All right, so and this is going to be a char field. So it will be models dot char field. Let's give it a max length of 10,000. Let's say for now. And same thing with content, it's going to be almost the same thing. So we copy that and we paste it here. This increases one to 100,000. That's it. And then author, all right? So author is, we are actually going to use the author. So I'll take this down for now. We are actually going to use the author from the users table, okay? From the users table. So admin, right? Now what's going on? Oh, so okay, let me comment on this for now. So the author we are actually going to use would be from this users table, which I'll show us right now. Log in this table here, right? So this table is a default table, right? Django created this table for us, okay? So there's no point of us creating a new table for users, right? So we're just going to go ahead and use this table, okay, without actually creating ours. So since we did not create this table, right? That's what I mean, that if we actually created that table, probably in our account, what we would have done would have been from, sorry, would have been from, let's say, from account accounts dot models dot models import the users, but right, that's what we would have done. Import the users table, but unfortunately, okay, we did not create this table, okay, so this table can't be found here, right? So where this table can be found is in the user in Django.contrib.auth.models, and I know it's long. The importation is long, but that's where that table is. So the what we should have done, it will be from Django.contrib.auth.models. Import the user table. Okay, so that's where that table is in this whole importation. In that's where that table is, right? So since an author can have many posts, okay, so and a post cannot have more than one author, so it's a many to one kind of relationship in our case, right? So what we do here, what we'll use here would be a relationship, a Django relationship, since we're not actually creating, since we don't want the author put to fill in his or her name each time the author wants to create a new post. Okay, so instead of that, we make it more like a relationship. Okay, and in this case, it's a many to one relationship, which is a foreign key, right? A foreign key relationship. Okay, and we want to relate with the users table, and then we add the undelete cascade, or the undelete cascade option. Okay, and then the other one would be a model dot date time field. Okay, and we have this to be, we want this to be included automatically. Also now add equals true. All right, so we want this to be added automatically. So with that, that is that for our posts. That is that for our post. Okay, so we go ahead and we go ahead and run. Go ahead and we run the necessary commands, and it says undelete must be callable. Where is that? Undelete must be callable. We haven't calculated. Let's give me a few minutes. Let's see what's happening here. Okay. Must be a callable. What does that actually mean? Key. So that's key. Right, so it is model. That cascade, I think. Let's see. All right, so that was the problem. So we missed that. Models.cascade. Okay, that's how it should be. So we run make migration command. Python manage.py make migrations. Yes, we did create a model for that, and then Python manage.py migrate. Right, so I'm aware that we already know this. It's in board already. All right, so another thing we do is to add up, is for us to go ahead and add up our model to the admin page. And the way we do that is we import it down here first from current directory. import from current directory, which we can find the models. Okay, we want to go ahead and import posts. And then what we want to do is go ahead and register at admin.site.register. I want to register posts.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma.
Sir, please, seeing you delete those models. Are you starting afresh or something?
All right, so I said that the way I want to handle this is I want to create a new blog, a new app, and I want this app to handle the post itself. Okay, so this is a new app which I just created, and inside this app I'm creating a new table for it. Right, so this app will handle the editing of posts, the creation of posts, the deleting of posts, and the updating of posts. Right, so I don't want all those to be done in the account app or in the home app. I want that to be done in this blog app. Right. So if you go to our account app, there's no more models there. So I deleted the other ones, the ones we had. I deleted them. So we have we have just one table currently.
Okay, sir.
Currently. Okay, so right. So if we head over to our admin page and then we refresh this, we now have a post, and and the post is found inside the blog app this time around. It's found inside the blog app, and we could do a couple of posts. And we could say that this one is let's say latest news, and this one would be gibberish. Okay. And let's say that admin owns this post, and let's save this. Okay, and let's go to another one. Let's call this one let's okay, current sports news, right? And the content would be that admin 2 on this one, and let's put one last one, sorry. And this one would be upcoming technologies in 2023. Okay, and this one would be gibberish again, and admin 3 will own this one. And let's get back to admin 1, admin itself, and let's save this. Okay, all right, so we have 3 posts there. So right, we are still having post objects and the rest of that, so I'll change that to return the post title. So str text self, and then you want to return, once a new object has been saved, you want to return self dot title. Okay, self dot post title, sorry. All right, so let's go ahead and refresh this. Let's see. All right, so that's that. Okay. All right, so next thing you want to do is to actually create a template folder here, so we can bring in our templates. So we have templates, we have backslash, right? Backslash, and this should be blog. Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and copy so far we have about 3 blog pages there. So we'll go ahead and just pick one. Okay, go ahead and pick one there and use. So we go to our document, KodeCamp project, my site, blog, template, blog, and then we paste them here. Paste. Right, so that's that. So now we have all of them right here. So you have all of them right here, and so up above here we want to import each of them. So I want to extend index. Sorry, it's in home. home/index.html. All right, so we'll do the same thing for the rest of them. I'll drop that, paste that here, and paste this one here. Same thing here, we paste this other one there. The next thing you want to do is the blog content itself. So the blog body should stop. The blog body should start where we have the end of the header, right? Because this header will come from this other thing here. Right? All right, so we have here the blog tag. Sorry, blog body and end blog body. All right, so let's see what's happening. For the footer, and blog body. All right, so we'll just do it for the first other one as well. With the header, blog body. So I believe we know why I'm doing this. And there's no response, so I'll take that as a yes. And block body. Right, so let's just go ahead and render this thing first. Okay, so we want to come here and create our view to render that page, right? This one would be let's say, it should, right, fine. Let's see what's happening here. Right, so this one here would be, let's say, the block. Sorry. Block list, or should I say post list? Post list, right? That's now this view. And seeing that list is a keyword, so we can't use it. So we use underscore list. All right. And then request. And then what we have here is return render. And what are we rendering? We are rendering the first block there. Let's see what that block looks like. Block slash block one. All right, let's see what that block looks like. Block one.html. Okay. All right, so let's see. And then what we need a URL to. So we create a new file here called urls.py. And I'll call this the from Django.urls import path. So I want to give this app a name. App name, I want to call this blog. And then URL pattern. This will be path that leads to. I see nothing. I want to go ahead and from current directory of views, I want to import blog or post list. Right, and here would be a post list, and this URL name would be a post list. Okay. All right. Next thing you want to do is to go down to our app URL and then do something like this. So when someone goes to blog, I want to include the blog.urls. I want to include the blog.urls. All right. This should be more like a JS. I think it's just one, I think. All right. So let's see what we are having. So let's go to blog and see what is going to happen. Let's go down here. Let's change this to blog /blog. All right, so this is what we are having. All right, so this is the actual blog, list of blog, okay, of sorry, all the posts that we have in our page. Okay. Let's see what the other one look like. So let's go ahead and run, let's see blog. So, blog body. Blog body. Boom, bam, 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 bam. I would have done all this before the class, but I want to do it here in class for purpose of people that probably did not understand what we did in our last classes. So, block body, and I'll do that for this as well. Block body. And block. Okay, so let's see how the other ones look like. So we'll try the second block too. Anyone that makes sense, we just leave the other ones. And all right, this one is like this. So this one is like, so this one is more like a grid format of it. So let's see the other one, block 3. And let's refresh. Okay, it's almost the same thing. In fact, the same thing. Okay. Except that this other one does not have a side menu, unlike the other one. So which one are we going for? Block 1, block 2, block 3. But to me, I think this block 3 makes it's this block 3 it's kind of looks cool. All right. So which one are we using?
Block 3, sir.
Block 3. All right. So let's go with the block 3. So you can go ahead and delete the other block 1 and block 2. Okay. All right. Okay. So far, if you've noticed, all these details here are dummy data. All right. The front end designer just used this as dummy data to fill this in. Okay. So now we want to go ahead and make all this to come from where our blog page. Okay. We want all this to come from our blog page, and sorry, from our database. Okay. And with the power of ORM, we are going to do that. We are going to actually make that happen. And remember, they render text in 3 arguments. The first one is request, the second one is the template, and then the last one is dictionary. All right. So what I want to do is we want to bring our models here so that we can grab all the records in that database and then I'll put it to the user when they get on that page. Right. So what I want to do is from current directory models, I want to import our post. Right. So now down here in the views, okay, so now each time we make a get request to this view, each time we make a get request to this view, I want to grab all the posts, right? So I want to grab all the posts, and we know how we do that, which is post dot object dot all. All right, so this will grab all the posts. This will grab all the posts, and then I want to assign this to a variable called post. Okay, and I want to go ahead and put this, because over time we will have more things to import from down here. Okay, so I just make a dictionary, more like a universal dictionary for all these things. So the first key here is post, and it will hold the value of post, right? And next thing, I want to pass this to this template. Okay, so I'll put in context there. All right, so now in our block 3, when we come here, remember, I said that once we grab all the record, it will come in a list format, okay? But it's a query set in a list format. So since it's in a list format, it means that we can loop through all of them, okay? We can loop through all of them. And we are going to use another template tag called the for tag. The for tag, and it's similar to the if tag that we used in our last class, but this one, it won't be if, it will be a for tag. And just like the if tag, once we open a for tag, we have to close the for tag. And currently, if you look at this, okay, this are block 3. Let's see. Right, in our block 3. Right. So if we look at this, okay, if we look at this, we will see that most things repeat themselves, right? Most things repeat themselves, and which is this one here. Look at this whole column here, this whole column there is the same column that is down here, right? And it's the same column for all of them, for all those posts there, the same column, right? So now the power of Django is we can actually use one column and loop, since that I say we just loop them, okay, and then delete the rest of them. So now, but the designer we actually have to write this over and over again. But us as a backend developer, we just use one and then loop and then repeat that one. We just loop through it, and you'll see what I mean in a second, right? So if you look at this from here, this whole tag, this div, from this div down to here, right, is the same div that is here to here, and also is the same div that is here to this place here. Okay, so now I think this way it all changes, where we now have, well, let's see, let's see these 3. What we're having these 3. All right, so let's see. I think this way the rest changes, and here is where everything changes. So let's see what is happening here. All right, so let me see where we are on the page. So I'll put some gibberish there, so I see where I am on this page. And if I scroll down, happens that it didn't even show up on the page. So probably that did not actually show up on the page. Right, so we'll just stick to the up part and then remove this other part of this whole thing. All right, so let's see what we have to do here. All right, so let me just add this one. Let me see where am I on the page. Okay. Okay. Something. All right, give me a second. Let's see. Well, let's see what these people are doing here. So literally, I think all these things are the same. Just repeating this whole thing twice. So if we, all right, so let's see what is going to happen. Let's shrink this to a smaller version. See what's happening. Shrink this up. Okay, so all right, so it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. The only thing that's different here is here they added a margin. Oh, what's my and MD? My is there. right? So for the purpose of not confusing ourselves, just copy this whole thing and then we paste it to the rest of all of them. All right. So, but first of all, let us put our post, okay? And we know, so I said that once we grab all our record, that it will come in a list format, and then since this thing comes in a list format, we can actually look through all of them to see each of those posts, okay? And so what we want to do here is, since all these are the same, we just need to take one of it and then look through all of them. All right. So what we do here is we open a tag called the for tag, and then you want to do for posts in post. This post here refers to this post here, right? So it's just the same thing I'm saying for I in post, okay? So, but in this case, I'm using post. All right. So for post in post, that is all the posts. I want to look through all those things now, right? So I'll just I'll end this for loop here, okay? Since the rest are the same, end this for loop here and end for. And then what we want, and then what we want to show here is first of all, we want to show the date of the post. Okay, so we take this off and then we output the date of this post. So here will be post dot, right? So since for each post, right? Since for each post, we'll actually access that post from this element here, right? We'll actually access each of the records from this variable here, because this more like this is a variable here, right? So for each time, for each loop, we'll have access to the post record through this variable here, right? So now for each post, I want to grab the date of that post, this timestamp here, right? I want to grab that timestamp there, and I could say that by saying post dot timestamp, and that will get the timestamp. And this one, I think this one is the views and the like, or which for now we don't need that for now. So, and where we have post title, we'll go ahead and grab the post title. So here will be post title, okay? And here, this whole place would be the post content itself. This whole place would be the post content itself. Here will be post dot content. Here will be post dot content. So if I go ahead and refresh our page, we should have the rest of this block, but at least the first part, the first three posts would actually come from our database. And if I refresh this, I think we are having an error. That's because spelling error. Sorry, this should be end for. And if I refresh this, now if you look at this, now we have latest news, current sports news, and upcoming technologies in 2023, right? So that those posts are actually coming from our database. And if you look at the time, it's today's date and few minutes ago, because that was when we actually created all these posts. Okay, you look at the time, that's when that was when we created all these posts, right? So what is happening is that our content is not showing. Probably we have a typo error. So let's see what we had as content. All right, post content, not content. Post content. Post underscore content. And if I refresh this page, all right, so we have our post content. Here it is, and here is this one, and here is this other one. So I'll go ahead and delete the rest of them, because the rest are just dummy data. Okay, so we do not need this anymore. We do not need this anymore. Okay, and we do not need this as well. Okay, and so I said, for the sake of understanding what is happening here, I'll go ahead and copy all this. We make use of it. Okay, so yeah. I think you just paste it there and go ahead and delete it. Delete them off. We do not need them. All right. Okay, so this other one here. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I think we still have much of them down there. This is stress. The front end developers are really stressing themselves out. Okay, so do not need this one anymore. It's happened. Let's see. All right. Let's do this other one. This other one, I think that should be the last one. And this, I think this is that much. Okay, I think that's the last one. All right. So that's all. That's all. All right. So let's go back and refresh our page and see what is happening. All right. So we have just 3 posts there, and those 3 posts are posts that we actually created ourselves. Which, if we go to your database, is actually coming from here. So if I add a new post here, let's say newest post. Okay, newest post, newest post, and then the content of gibberish. Let's refer this one to test 3 and let's save this. Now, if you come here, it automatically get loaded. But I think it get loaded outside where it should be. Someone gets loaded outside where it should be. And why is that happening? So let's see. It's happening. It's happening. So I think we've tempered with the design here. Right, so let's take this off for now, and we'll bring it back. You are seriously serious right now. All right, so let's see what's happening. Still showing something. All right, so let's see. All right, so please let me know if there's any questions so far. So I've taken out that how do you call it, pagination. I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back when I fix up the design of this template. So I think we've messed up with the design of the template. Right. So now, if you look at what is happening here, if you look at what is really happening here, right? This is the last post we did created, right? But if we go to Facebook, I think our recent post always tends to show up the first, like here where this one is now. That's where the recent post should be showing. Okay, but it seems that our recent posts are actually going behind, right? So, but that's not what we want. So let's go ahead and order this. Let's go ahead and make this let's order this a little bit. Right. So what we can order it by timestamp. Okay. So now what we can add to this post.all, to this post.order.all is a function called order by, right? Order by. Okay. And then in brackets, which field do you want to order by? Which field do you want to order by? Now, in our case, we want to order by timestamp, okay? And by default, it's already ordered by timestamp, okay? That's the oldest one. That the oldest time gets on top, and the newest time gets below. So you want to reverse that. You want the newest time to get on top, and the oldest time gets below. So you go ahead and add a dash in front of that, or a minus sign, or should I say a dash in front of the timestamp. It means reverse the order of the arrangement. Okay, so that if I refresh this, we should have our newest post up there. Okay, and then everything gets ordered, but as it comes, it gets ordered automatically, right? So now, but so far, a user cannot actually create a post. So like from so far, a user can't create a post so far, right? So we want to make a way where a user can actually create a post. Okay, so I think let's see how I'm going to do that. We might not actually to save time. Okay, to save time to but let us see how it goes. Okay, let us see how it goes. Right. So now so far we've been able to grab all the posts and then show it to the front end. Right. So now next thing is for us to make a way where a user can create a post. Okay, like from here, a user can actually see a form where he can create a post and then actually create that post. Okay. So now to do that, let's actually put a URL where a user can create a post, where a user can create a post. Okay, so if we go to our home index, okay, let's put an index where a user can actually do that. Okay, so let's go back to our navigation page. Okay, so far we do not need this, right? We do not need this anymore, so I'll take this off. We do not need that drop down anymore, so I'll take that out. Okay, so now so far we have the home, about, and contact. So I'll go ahead and copy this to say make a post. Okay, to say make a post, and I only want this to be available. When a user actually is logged in. Okay, I only want this to be available if a user is actually logged in. Okay, so down here we use our authenticator again and say that we only want this to be available if a user dot is authenticated. Okay, authenticated. So a user can only make a post if he is actually logged in. Okay, if a user dot is authenticated, let's see that spelling is correct there. Okay, all right, so we'll go ahead and close that tab. Okay, and close the if tab. We don't need the else. Okay, we only want the if statement itself. So we paste that in there. So here we would be where a user will click to create post. Okay, create post. Okay, and this is going to our blog. This will go to our blog, and this will be make create post, or this view will be create post. So far we don't have that URL yet. Create post. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a URL for creating of post. Okay, so let's see URL. Here we come here and we copy this, and then we paste this because it's going to be almost the same thing. And here would be where blog, and where it says create dash post. Okay, when it gets to the want to, and this will be this URL will be called create post. Okay, and then the view would be a create post view. Okay, create post view. Okay, this will be, so that will be now the view. And so far we don't have that view yet, but we are going to go ahead and create it. Create post. Okay, so we import it as well, and then we come here and then we make a view for create post. Okay, and this view takes in request. Okay, request the create post, and this will be request. And so I think we are having issue there. Let's see what is happening. All right, so let's see what is really happening. You're having error somewhere. All right, so let's just go. Let's use an underscore. Let's use an underscore. Sorry, I think that's the problem. So this will be an underscore create post. Okay, and then we want to return and render as well. Render as well. What we want to render is a new template which we will create also. And this template will be found in our blog. The template will be a create post, create post dash post dot html. All right. Okay, so it will be, so here this template will be more like a form, okay, where user can actually make this post. Okay, so we come here and we create a new template for create post.html. All right, so then we go ahead and we extend, our home slash index dot html. All right. And next thing you want to do is the block body. And let's see, let's see, this one will be block and block, sorry. And block body. And the next thing is this will be a form, okay? This will be a form. All right, this will be a form where users can actually create this post, okay? Where users can actually create this post, right? And I would have just copied the login and the logout form and then edit it. All right, but let's just create a basic form, and once the functionality works, then we go ahead and bring in the actual form. Okay, so what we want to do here will be a label for title. Let's say for title. Okay, and this will be post title, right? This is a basic HTML, right? This is a basic HTML, and this is the input of text, all right? Input of text, and then what I want to do is give it an ID of title, and then give this input a name as well, because we are going to grab the value of this field, right? So you have to give it a name. So this name will be title, right? So we do the same thing for content, right? It's going to be a similar thing. So let me just come here and put a div. So this thing separates from each other. So I'll cut this, paste that in there, and then shift this one. Copy this and paste that here as well. So here, this one would be for post content. Okay, this will be post content. This will be post content, and this would be this should this should also be this should be a text as well. And ID would be this one. This one will be for content. This one will be for content, and name will be content as well. Content. And the next one would be an input as well, but this time around, this one would be a submit button, right? A button to actually submit this post. So we submit, and this will be post. Okay. Remember that Django will let us submit this form without the cross-site request forgery token. Cross-site request forgery token. Right. So that's the only way Django will let us submit that form. All right. So up to now, we haven't specified where this form should be submitted to, right? We want this form to be submitted to our blog create post. Okay, our blog create post view, create post view. All right, so that's the name of the view there, of the URL, sorry. Create post. Okay. So I think everything is fixed. Okay. All right. So a comma there, and let's see. All right. So if we, sorry, if we refresh this page now, so now we now have a where we say create post. Now if we click on create post, right, it takes us to this form that is not that good. Okay, the form is not that wonderful, right? But for now, we just use it for now. Okay, we just use this form for now. Let's just add one more thing here. Let's add one more thing here called. Let's add one more thing, or let's add a class of container. This is a bootstrap class, or it will center all those things. It will take them to the center, kind of put spaces. It will put spaces on the left and the right hand side of this page for us. So cut this and then, okay, so I think that's the wrong. All right, so I'll cut this and then paste everything here. All right, so next thing I want to do is want to put a little style here of margin 50 pixel. All right, is it 50 pixel or 50 pixel? 50 pixel, right? Okay, let's refresh this and let's see. All right, so this looks a little bit better for us. It looks a little bit better for now. All right, so please, if I'm too fast, just stop me and let me know. Okay, so I believe there's no question. If you understand why I'm doing all this, right? Any question?
I have a question, sir.
Okay, sir.
For the action part in the form.
Okay.
Yes, so I wanted to ask that maybe if we were to build a search functionality into our page,
Okay.
the action will lead to maybe in the home page of the blog, and we have a search functionality there, a search bar there. So the action will lead to the home page.
Yeah, the action would be to any URL that you are going to get that keyword and then perform the logic. Okay, so wherever you wish to get those, wherever you wish to submit that data to, okay, is your action. Okay, so in our case, we want to submit it to our create post URL. Okay.
Okay.
Right, so it could be anywhere.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, so any other question before we proceed into the actual creating of this post? All right, so I believe there's no other question. All right, so let's continue. Let's see. All right, so what's happening here is I'm simply saying that, okay, if we've added a new link here that takes us to this page, which we'll change we'll actually bring the actual form down here, but for now we want to hook up the functionality first, okay, to save time, okay, because if notice, we took time to cut out some parts of this web page that we did not need. All right, so we won't waste time doing that again. So let actually face the functionality first, then we could be actually then in our spare time we can now bring in the design. Okay, all right, so we added this new URL here that says create post. Okay, and this URL only exists when someone is logged in. If you guys have seen, I've logged in, that's why I'm having logout here, right? So this create post link only exists when someone is logged in. Okay, so now when you click on it, it takes you to this page, and then this page says your post title and your post content, and then a button to actually submit it, right? And then a button to actually submit it, right? So we've said that we want to submit this data or all this data to our create post URL, right? So now from there, we now get the data and do what? Manipulate it however we want to manipulate it. So, right? So now remember to submit to submit data, it is always a post request. Okay, it's a post request. Okay, so since this form will be submitted to where these views here, right? This create post, right? So now we want to check that, because what happens is when we get to, by default, we make a get URL to where this view here, and that's why we are having this form, right? It is the get URL that gives us this form. So now we want to submit to this same page, right? And at the same time, I forgot to let us know that if you are submitting something to the same page, right, like to the current page that you are on, right, you do not need to specify the action, right? It will automatically submit to that same page, right? So this was not actually necessary, okay? But for the purpose of just fulfilling all righteousness, let's just put it there, okay? But it's not actually necessary. You only use this action if you are submitting to some other URL, okay, outside the current page that you are, right? So now in our case, we were submitting it to this same URL, right? To this same URL, right? So that action was not actually necessary, but we will leave it there, right? We will leave it there, right? So now remember, want to check now by default that all the requests that comes in are get requests. So now we want to check if we have a post request, right? So now if we have a post request, there are certain data we want to get, right? There are certain data we want to get, okay? And those data that we wish to get are the title and the contents, right? Those are the title and the content. Those are the data we wish to get. Now, when submitting data to somewhere, you have to give that particular input a name, because it is from the name that you'll be able to get the content of that field, okay? That's why we added this name to each of the inputs here. We added name to each of them, right? Because it is from this name that we will be able to get the content of this field, right? So now we want to come here and then check if there's a request that's coming here, that's a post request, okay? So to check that, we use if request dot method, okay? Dot method is equals to what? A post request. A post request, post, right? Now, if that request is equals to post, right? We want to go ahead and get some certain things. So first of all, we want to get what we want to get. Remember, in our account, let's go to our account. Let me show you something, right? In our account, we actually did this, right? And then to get the data that came from that form, we did this, right? This was only done because we were using an inbuilt form, and it said that it was a Django form, right? That form was inbuilt. So we just did request the post and we get all those data there. But if you see clearly that this form is not an inbuilt form, right? This form we did it ourselves. So we can't do that to get all this data. So what we can do is we can get this data field by field, like one by one, right? So we can't get it collectively the same way we did in the user creation. We can't do it like we can't get it collectively like this. So we have to get it one by one, right? I'll show you how that is done. So to do this, right? We go ahead and then we say request.post.get, right? To get any field that you want to get from that request, okay? So now if you come here, the first thing you want to get is the title, and to get the title, we do request dot post, right? In caps lock, dot post name dot get, right? Now what are we getting? We want to get a field that, right? So what are we getting now? We want to get either of this field, either the name or the either the title or the content. Okay, so now for the first one, we want to get the title. For the first one, we want to get the title, okay? And then for the second one, we want to get the content. So I'll go ahead and copy this, paste here. So we want to get the content of this content. All right, so now we want to go ahead and assign each of these to a variable, right? Each of these to a variable. So this one will be title, all right? And this other one will be content. Okay, this other one will be content, right? And with this, we can grab those data from there, right? So if I go ahead and we print this, let us print this and see if we actually did get those things. Title, and then let's go ahead and print. Okay, I'll just print the title, right? If we get the title, then that means we've gotten the content as well. So there's no point printing the content. So let's just try this out, right? Let's try this out and let's see what happens. All right, so till now, after getting this, what do you want to do? We want to return, or you want to redirect. Okay, so you want to return, because after grabbing this, we have to go to somewhere, right? Because once a request is a post method, we have to go to somewhere after that has been posted. Okay, like after that that those data has been submitted, where do we go to? Okay, so now after the submission, we want to redirect. Okay, we want to redirect to some other place. Redirect. Okay, redirect to, where are we redirecting to? Want to go back to the block itself, right? To this block list. I want to go back to a list of all those blocks, of all those posts. Okay, so now we want to grab this. It's called post list. That's how that URL is called, post list, right? So you go to views and want to redirect to block post list. Okay, after that is done. And redirects, we have to import redirect, and redirect is found in the same directory where the render is found, right? So we go come up there and we import redirect as well. Redirect, and then come back here and we refresh. Right, so let's say new user post. Let's see what happened. New user post. Okay, and then the content will just be gibberish. Okay, and then let's click on post, and then what happens? Let's see what happens. Right, let's see what happening here. Right, so now you can see we've actually grabbed that data. Right, we've grabbed that data, but we haven't actually saved it to the database yet. But we've done what? We've actually grabbed it. Right, we've actually grabbed it. So now you have to go ahead and do what? Save, and we have to go ahead and do what? Add this to the database. And we know how we add a new record to database, right? So to add a new record to database, we assign this to a variable called new record. Okay, new record. Let's see that, or let's say new post rather. Let's use new post. Okay, and this is going to be a post. Okay, and then in bracket the fields we want to add to the database. So in this case, you want to add the post title. Okay, the post title field. You want to assign it to title. That's the title we get from the user. Okay, and then the post content. You want to assign it to content, right? The content which we get from the user. Okay. So now, if we've noticed, if we come here, let's see, if we come here to our model, we have an author, right? So we can't actually save this. We can't save that without an author, right? We need an author in this case. Okay. So we need an author to save that, right? So how do we get the author of that post? Okay. How do we get the author of that post? Okay. So now, since a post can only be made, or a new post can only be created when a user is logged in, right? It means that we can grab that user that is logged in, right? And that user can be grabbed from the request, right? This request holds the current login user, right? That request holds the current login user. And all we have to do to get it, we have to say request.user, and then we get the current login user, right? Because it's only the current login user that can make that post. Okay, it's only the current login user that can make that post. Right, someone cannot stay offline or outside or hasn't logged in and then make a post. It's impossible. Okay, so you have to actually be logged in. Okay, so now to get that user that's logged in, we just say request.user, right? So we just say author. You can come here and say author. Okay, that author is equals to the request dot user, right? Now that will get the current login user, and then we come here and we add the last field, which is author. As for the timestamp will get added automatically, all right? Automatically. So here will be author is equals to that author that we just defined up there, or we could say user, or we could say login user, or anyhow you want to put it there. So to avoid confusion, let's call it something else. Let's say user, right? So the author is equals to what that user, right? The login user, all right? The login user. Then after that, We want to go ahead and do what? Save the new post, right? We want to go ahead and do what? Save the new post after that has been done. So we save this and then we redirect to where? The block list. So let's give this a try and see. So we go to create post and let's say new, let's just say art is life. Okay. This and some gibberish. And then let's click on post. And taking time to load. Let's see what happens. All right, so let's see. It seems our post wasn't actually created. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what is happening. Let's see what's happening. Art is live, right there. Okay. So let's see. Let's go ahead and see if that was. Let's say that was created in our database. My server is taking time to load. So let me break this and run this again. All right, so let's see again. Let's see what's happening. All right. So our latest post is called our recent post is the newest post. Okay, let's try this again one more time. And before that, let's see what's happening here. So user post that new post save. Okay, so let's see. Let's try this again. Create a post. Create a post and let's see. Art is live.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir. Question.
In the HTML stuff that we created, the create post.html.
Okay.
When you wrote the form, you put the post in small letter, but then in the views, you used if request the method is capital letter post.
Yes.
Could that have been the mistake?
No. When this is being sent, when this request is being sent to okay, it comes in as in capital letters. So if it was get, it has been in capital letter. Okay. So this request have been sent in capital. So let's say let's just make an error here. Let's see if I can get that for you. So let's refresh this. They should give us an error. It's not even giving an error. I wanted something that can give us an error. So we see. The problem is not from she's not from that. Okay, this thing they come in caps lock. This one's not going to give me an error. Okay, probably when I get an error, then I'll show you that I'm okay. But that's not the problem. Okay? The problem is let's see. Problem is it should work, right? So let's just try it again. All right, so let's say art is live. One more time. Art is live. Okay. All right. So let's do gibberish, and let's post. All right. So we have it there. Art is live. Posted. Right. So if you go to our database and we refresh this and we have art is live. Now we can see it automatically assigned the admin as that user. That's because the admin is the current login user, right? The current login user. So therefore it is the admin that made that post. Okay. So if I log out here, I'm probably logging with another account. Let's say another account. Then you could say that it will assign that user as well. So let's see if another user. Let's see. So I have admin 2. Okay, admin 2. Let's see that so let's log out as this and let's go back to our page and let's refresh this. We do not have the create post again, so you have to sign in. So I sign in as admin 2. Login. All right, and let's create a new post. Let's just save this one now. Let's create a new post. Let's just say this new post is signed in as admin 2. Typo error by the way. Sorry. Let the new process is signed in as admin 2. Okay. And this will be gibberish. All right, so let's post this, and let's. Oh, we've already made a post, okay. But let's see what's happening. If I refresh this, and log back in, and go to my post, you can see I have 2 posts here, and the author is admin 2, and this other one too is as well as admin 2, but you can see that we don't have the post content, right? So how do we fix this kind of problem? Okay, so we can handle this from we can handle this from the back end as well. So we can come here and then we check that we only want to create a new post if the title is not equal to none or is not empty, okay, and the content is not empty, but that will be long protocol. Okay, so the easiest way to do that is to come to your front end and add a keyword here called required, okay, to your HTML. So now someone cannot submit this without filling in all this. So with that, we can just solve that long code that we had in mind. All right, so if you come here to make another post, and let's say try to submit this, it doesn't submit, okay, it doesn't submit. You have to actually fill this out, fill this field, and please fill out this field. So let's say I fill this out and then try to submit again. It says fill out this other field as well. All right, so with that, we can solve that issue of submitting an empty space like this. Okay, so that is how we actually, that's how a post can be created from the front end. Okay, and that was quite easy and simple. Okay, that was very easy and simple. Right, so any question before we move to the next part of the class, which is updating of that post? Or let's just deal with the, okay, next one should be detail, which I think I didn't put in. Great, detail. And okay, so next one should be the post detail. Post detail in the sense that if I go to, okay, there's no block here, so let me come here, add block link, right? Let's add block link there in our index, right? So this block link can be shown even if you're not logged in. Okay, if you go to someone's blog, you can actually go view all their blog posts, right, without actually logging in. Okay, but you cannot make a post. You have to actually log in to make a post, right? So this one will go to blog, right? This one will go to blog, right? And it will go to blog and blog list. I think post list. That was the name of the URL, post list. Excuse me. All right, so let me something. So let's see if I can get an error here. So I need an error somewhere. All right, so all right, let's see. Let's see. Request, looking for where I can get that request. All right, so if, okay, then the person that asked if why we use small letter and then use caps lock in the admin page. Now you look at all these data, because these are all data that comes alongside with our request. This request that we are seeing here, this request here, this request contains all these data, right? That request contains all this data, right? So now we checked for if request.method, right, is equals to get. So now you see that the get comes in as caps lock. So you have to check it in caps. So it must be in caps lock. All right. So that should always be in caps lock. Right? So let me just fix back that error. So that was the error I'm just seeing. So I can show you that. All right. So we have block. All right. So what did I want to say? All right. So that's so any question about creation of posts? So before we move into the detail of posts, all right, details of posts. So now if you look at this blog post, right, if you hover on the title, it should take you, if you click on it, all right, it should take you to the actual post, like to all the posts, like to the detail of that post. Okay. but currently we do not have the detail of that post. So how do we actually fix, or how do we actually do that? How do we actually click on this post and it takes us to the detail of this post, right? And they are now knows that it is this post that we click on and not this post, okay? So that's what we want to do next. So before that, is there any question before that? Any question? All right, so no one's answering, so I'll take that as a no. There's no question. All right, so let's see how we can fix the detail, the post detail. But before that, right? What happens? We have a problem here, right? And the problem here is the problem we are having here is that if someone puts an actual post here, like a post of, let's say, over 10,000 lines of content, right? And we have that our post will be long, that some posts will be longer than some posts, right? And we don't, and if you see this one here, it's actually longer than this one and this one and rest of them, right? And we don't want that, right? We want to maintain a specific amount of posts should show in this, actually in this front, like in this list post, like this list of posts here, right? You should have, like, let's say the first 150 words, okay, should actually show. Then when you click on read more, it takes it to the what, to all the posts, right? Like to the full post, okay? That's what we want to implement, right? And we can do that by, say, let's say if we come here, if we go to our models, right, we can add a function. So let's say a method, right? The same way we added this method that says if a new record is being saved, right? I don't want you to return as object, as post object. I want you to return the title of that post, okay? So we can add similar method, right? But this method won't be a special method, it'll just be a normal method, okay? And we will call this method snippet. Snippet in the sense that it just cuts some part of the content and show, okay? It only returns some content, some part of the post content, okay? And that's what we want to output when we get here, right? When we want to show like the first 200 characters, okay? The first 200 characters here, and then when you click on read more, it takes you to all of it, like to the detail of that post, okay? And that's how most blog works, okay? That's how most blog looks like. All right, so we do that real quick. And since this is a function inside a class, okay? Remember, a function inside a class must always take the self argument or parameter, okay? And then what are we returning in this case? We want to return what? The post title, but not just the post title, sorry, the post content, okay? We want to return the post content. Sorry, not put self dot post content, right? Self dot post, I'm spelling the self wrong. Self dot post content, right? We want to return the self dot post content, okay? And but we don't want to return the full thing. We want to return the first, we could say the first 100 or 200 characters, or 100, anyhow you want, any amount, okay? We want to return the first 100 characters, and then after that we want to go ahead and concatenate this with dot dot dot, meaning that post still continues, okay? Meaning that post still continues. So what happens is it will get the first 200 characters of the post content and then attach dot dot dot, and then that means that post is longer than that, okay? But if you click on the read more, it will take you to the detail of that post, okay? So now what we want to do is we want to go back to our templates here, block 3. I think that's what we use, block 3. So now instead of showing post content, we want to show the snippets of that snippets, all right? Snippets. Let's see if double P or single P. Let's confirm that. So double P, all right? So it's snippets. That's what you want to show, the snippet, and not actually and not the content itself, okay? Now if I refresh this, let's see. If I refresh this, now you see that it grabs like the first 150 characters and then attach dot dot dot. Sorry, this dot dot dots here, right? So it happens that these other ones were not up to 150 characters, right? So it just dropped like the first, like the actual character, and then attached dot dot dot. Okay. So same thing here. This one is up to 150 characters, 150 characters. If you want to go ahead and count them, it's up to 150 characters plus those spaces. They're up to 150 characters. I mean, sorry, 200 characters. That's what we specify here, 200 characters, and then add dot dot dot. So now that it means that this post continues. So now what we want to do now is we want to go ahead and add a situation where if we click on post on read more, okay, it takes us to that actual post, right? To the actual post, that's the full post, right? So now how do we identify this post from this post and that post from this other post and so on and so forth? How do we identify them, and how do we send, and how do we let the URL, or how do we make this URL to understand this post, or to know which post we are actually referring to? Because we have to find a way, okay, to pass the uniqueness of this post to the URL, okay, so that we can process this, okay. And I'll show you what I mean in a second, right? So let's say, let's also come here and let's go ahead and create a post. Sorry, a view, and this view I've created above this create post, okay. I'll create above the create post, and this view would be a post detail view, right? A post detail view, and this is where it will show the actual post, okay? A post detail view, detail. As usual, it takes the request, and then we want to return, and then render as well, and we want to return requests, and then and HTML block, and sorry, slash, and then we want to return single, because that's a single. I want to return a single block. But for now, let me explain what I mean. So I'll just go ahead and create a post single, a new HTML post, not actually post, sorry, post single, right? .html, okay, .html, right? So I'll go ahead and create this for now, right? And then I'll show you what I'm trying to, what I mean here, right? What I mean here. Let's a new file, then we paste that in. All right. So now, we want a situation, okay? We want a situation where when user click on read more, okay, it tells the user to a detail of this post, okay. So let me create a URL for that. Let me create a URL for detail, right? For a detailed post, okay. So I'll this, and then paste this here, and then this should be called detail, okay. Detail, and then this should text out. This should be post detail. Okay, this should be post detail, right? Post detail. So this should be post detail, and then this other one should be post detail. Post detail, okay. All right. Okay. So okay. Let's see. All right. So now, let's go to our post, right? Our blog itself, right? Our blog itself, and then let's see where it says read more. So read more. So here, instead of going to read more, here we take us to the detail of that post, okay? The detail of the post, okay? And we have the URL, right? The URL, and then, sorry, single quote, blog, and then post dash detail, okay? Post dash detail, right? So now, once I click on that, it should take me to a particular post, okay? I should go ahead and show the detail of that post, right? That's the full post itself. So if I click on this, it takes me to the same page, but let me show you what's happening here, right? Let me show you what's happening here. So if I wait, post single, I think, all right? So if I come here and just say same post, then just type in here same post, okay? Same post. So now let's say if I click on this, I have same post. If I click on this, I have same post, right? But I'm looking for a situation where if I click on a particular post, okay, I click on a particular post, I see the detail of this post, meaning I should see the post detail, the post title, and as well as the post detail. So now we have to find a way of passing the uniqueness of this post to our URL, okay? And then remember I said that once we create a database, okay, Django automatically create what we call ID for each of our table. Sorry. So now this ID is assigned to each record, meaning that each record have a particular ID, okay, which makes them unique. Okay, so this post here has its own ID, this post here has its own ID, and this post here has its own ID. So how do we pass this ID to the URL so that we can actually process it, or so that we can grab that particular post and then show it to the user to continue reading from to view the detail of that post? Okay, how do we pass that ID to this URL here? Okay, so we should have something like, let's say blog/detail, okay, which is this our detail, and then we have something like an ID, let's say an ID of 1, okay, here, an ID of 1, which should take us to which should take us to a post that has that ID of 1, okay. And probably if you have 2, okay, if you have 2, it should take us to a page, or to take us to a page that shows the detail of that post that had the ID of 2. So how do we manipulate, or how do we pass this ID to our URL? Okay, so now Django make that very easy for us. Okay, so now we can come to our URL and then pass in like a variable, okay, to a variable to this, a variable to the to this URL. And then when assigning this URL in the template, we go ahead and pass in that variable. And I'll show us what I mean in a second, right? So to pass a variable to a URL, we use angle brackets, open angle brackets, open and close, right? I think I'm okay. Angle bracket, open and close. So now within this angle bracket, we go ahead and specify the variable name, okay, the variable name. So and now the variable type, right? So now since this is an ID is an integer, right? So I have to specify that this variable will be an int, and then after that, you now give the variable like, sorry, the variable name, sorry, the variable name, variable, wow, the variable name, okay. So now in this case, I'll call this variable ID in caps lock, right? So that's how I want to call that variable. So now when in our template now, we don't just pass post ID. That's because if I refresh this, I'll show you what I mean. If I refresh this, and let's go back to post detail now, right? If I refresh this post detail, I should have an error saying, it happens that I'm not even having an error. Our command prompts, our server is not refreshing fast. I don't know what's wrong with it. So if I refresh this, and now still showing me something. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Let's see URLs. Right? There's a particular error we should have, but my computer is not showing that error, but we should have that error. That error should come in. Okay. So let's go back to this and let's refresh this. All right, that's the error. So that's the error. So it says that no reverse match, right? It says reverse for post detail with no argument not found. Okay, no argument not found. That's the keyword that I want us to get there. No argument not found. It means that this URL now has an argument which we must always provide, okay, and that argument is this argument here. And if we look at when we said when we pointed to that URL, we did not specify the arguments here. We just mentioned the URL name with no argument. So how do we pass this argument? So this argument, you pass it outside this quotation. So let's say in our case, I pass an argument of 3 there, okay, an argument of 3 there. And then I refresh this, okay. Now it works, right? Because I've now specified an argument there, okay. I've now specified an argument there, right? But if I click this now on read more, okay, now it now says that post detail got an unexpected keyword argument. What causes this error? The error now is from our views, right? From these views here now. These views now, when coming to this view, right, and there's, apart from the request, there's another argument coming alongside, and that argument is called ID, but we haven't made room for that argument on our view. All right, so now we have to come here and make room for that argument by saying request comma ID, which means that we're not having two things coming to this view, right? The request and as well as the argument called ID. Okay, so now if I refresh this now, now we are having same post, right? But we've been able to pass we've been able to pass a keyword or as I say a parameter to this URL, meaning that I can grab this ID now, right? So now if I come here and say print ID, so print ID. If I come here and say print ID, let me refresh that and let you see what I mean. If I refresh this and come here, I think there's a 3 here, right? You can see 3 there. Not see my screen, not showing that one, but I believe there's 3 there. So let's do this. Let's do this. So if I say print ID and then comma here and then quotation and then space, so I can see that ID. I'm not seeing it on my own screen. So I refresh this, and then come here, and then we have an ID of 3. Am I wrong? You guys seeing any ID on your screen? Are you guys seeing 3 on your screen? I believe you guys should see 3 on your screen. I just believe so. This thing is not loading. All right, so let me refresh this again. Right, and see. Okay, good. Now I have 3, right? So that means I've been able to pass this argument from where? I've been able to pass this argument from where? From our template, this template right here. 3 right there to our views. So if I put 5 here, okay, I'll be able to pass 5 as arguments to where our URL and to where our view. So if I come here and put 5, because it is now 5, okay, it's now 5. So if I click on this, oh god, my server is just lagging behind. My server is just lagging behind. I don't know what's wrong with it. So I'm still having 3. I should be having 5. Okay, I should be having 5. So let me refresh that page. So I refresh this page, and if I click here again, so I'm having 5 there now, right? I'm having 5, right? So now I've been able to pass arguments to the URL and then down to our view. So now what we can do now is, since we're able to pass this in, and we can now come here and do what? And grab a post with that particular ID, right? So if I come here and say, post, right? Dot object. Now remember how to get a single object, right? A single role or a single record. Use the get to get a single record. And what am I getting, or what I want to get? I want to get a record that has the ID that's equal to what our ID up there, right? And our ID was, so whatever our ID is there, we want to grab that post, okay? And I want to do what? Save this post in what we call post. In post, okay? So I want to save it in that variable, and then I want to go ahead and put this in a dictionary and then pass it to our template. Post and then post. Okay. And then down here we pass that dictionary to our views, context. Context, and we know that. Okay. So now in this view, let's go ahead and say post, right? Let me also go ahead and grab something for you. So let me show you what I mean. So if I come here and then, since I've been able to pass post down here, so that means I can get a post title, right? Post title. Okay, post title. So now let's go back to our block 3, right? So let's pass an argument that do exist, right? So let's pass 3 here. Let's pass 3 here. So now if I go back and then refresh this, says so that my server is lagging. I don't know why. All right, so now if I click on this, now I have a post title, and that post title is the post that has the ID of 3. Okay, so if I click on all of them, it will be the same thing. Upcoming technologies. Now you've seen that I'll be able to do what? I'll be able to pass an argument, okay, and then collect this argument from the URL and then use it in our views to do what? To get a particular post, okay? So now, so far, if I click on this, we're having just one post. That's because this argument is static, it's 3, all right? It's static, it's always 3, right? So now what we can do is, if I want to go back to our post, right? I am sorry, our blog, right? Our blog list, right? Which was here. So now, instead of saying 3, okay, let's make this dynamic, okay? So for each loop, we're just going to put that ID of each post there. So now here we put post dot ID, okay? So and this will always be this number will change, okay? So as the loop goes, okay, it will assign the ID of that post to that argument in that URL. So if I refresh this, right, if I click on this now, I now have this title called sign in as admin 2. If I click on this one now, the same title. Let's do this other one. If I click on this one, I now have add is live. If I click on another one now, and I have newest post. If I click on another one now, and I have upcoming. So now, if you've seen, this ID now is changing. We have 2 there now, right? It's changing. It's changing. We have 7 there now. So now we've been able to make that ID now dynamic, okay? We've been able to make that ID now dynamic, and from that we'll be able to pass that ID to our views, and then use that ID to do what? To get the current post with that ID, and then pass that post to our what? To our template, okay? So with that, I can come to our single now, and let's see how this thing works in the single, right? So let's put that in our single right here. Let's put that in our single right here and call it a day. Is there any question on how I did that detail view? Any question on that? All right, so here should be post item. Any question?
No, sir, no question.
Okay, post title, okay? Post title. And this whole thing should be, this whole paragraph of the thing, this whole paragraph should be our post contents, okay? So we don't need the dummy data again. Post content, okay? Content. All right, so so far that's all we have. Is there where they say author? There's no author for now, so let's just leave it there for now. All right, I think dates. All right, dates. All right, that should be post.timestamp. Okay, and that is Malam. All right, post dot timestamp. Okay, timestamp. Okay. All right, so let's go back to our views, and then let's change this to single and not post single. Yeah, question. Please go on.
It's not a question, just like a suggestion.
Okay. Okay.
Streaming the class and the processes is quite let's say it's quite cumbersome because of the five sections that we are opening and everything. I'm just suggesting in a way we can just use maybe two or three table that and like 2 HTML to just teach us the post, create and edit section. Because the way we are looking at it now, even if after this class, I'm even doing screen recording, because after this class I have to go and stay watch to understand, because of the various places we are clicking and everything.
Okay.
Do you understand? So
Yeah.
I didn't mean that more table, a small HTML
okay.
table and web page we can use to like grab the functionality, then we can now use our hand and go and implement it.
Okay. In the block itself, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So so I think that's what I would do. Okay, because we haven't actually finished. So we just did the create and detail. Okay, so there should be detail here. Okay, there should be detail here. We just did two things today. There should be detail there. Okay. So we just did create and detail view, and then so I think for the update, edit, and delete, right? So we might actually touch the create and detail and the create and detail view again, right? But in a minimal section, right? So I'll take off all those templates and then we just stick to few things, to very few pages, okay? And okay, so to avoid the confusion, okay, to avoid the confusion, all right? So, but that wouldn't be possible in this class because we are already out of time. Okay, we are out of time. But now next class, I promise that I'll try to make it. I'll try to keep the pages simple and minimal. Okay, so I'll try to keep the pages simple and minimal. Right. Any other question on that?
Yes, sir. I was wondering, three of us to find out when the last class will be released. Because sometimes,
Okay.
yeah, we need to come back to the video and look over it again and be now on our system going through it.
Okay. Okay. Honestly, I do not know, but I'll make arrangements. I'll make findings. Okay, I'll find out when it will be released. But I believe it will be released this week. It cannot reach the weekend. It will release before the weekend. So probably they'll just join this and that other one and release as well. I'm release both of them at once. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. So any other questions before we call it evening? Sorry, a night. Yeah, like I said, I'm aware of that most of us are not yet promoted. We will be, and we'll be in our right pages. Most of us haven't still submitted our assignments. I don't know why. Okay, so question?
No, you said something about our assignment.
Yes,
I just wanted to. You said something about our assignment that most of us have not submitted it yet.
Yes, most of us haven't submitted it.
It's
I have about, I think about 17. Sorry, I have about 17 submission out of about 50 something. The first task I had it close to about 100 submission. I don't know why it's reducing. What's going on? Are we tired of the class?
It's getting harder.
You're getting out of hands.
No, sir, I'm still in that stage 5. You promised that they will correct. Have not been affected.
Okay, you're still you should be in stage 6, right? Yeah, that's because people that are in stage 6 are not even yet in stage 7. So I think when the position comes, it will affect all of you, or like everyone. Okay, so just keep calm and you'll be promoted. Okay, just keep calm. Be patient. Be patient with us. Okay. Okay. I think you're the person that needed your morale to be high, right? Don't worry, your morale will be high, definitely.
Okay.
You can have a little patient with us, please. Okay, so in the absence of any other questions, I believe today's class is very simple because I'm not really having much questions. So I believe it's simple. Just the fact that you're opening multiple pages, okay? But apart from that, it was simple and clear and straightforward. Okay.
I don't believe that. Don't believe that. You know, I beg. Don't believe that.
Sorry, sorry. What did you say? I didn't really get you.
Hello.
You should not believe. You should not believe. Not that simple.
Hello.
Okay. To understand.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes. Go on.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you. I've been shouting hello since. Anyway. I just have an observation.
Okay.
Yeah, the class today. Well, I joined a little bit late, I noticed it's tag section 24.
Section 24?
Yes, that's what I saw. But the videos we have,
okay.
The last posted one was 21. And I know the Monday class has not been posted. So I don't know if there have been classes in between.
No, there haven't been classes in between. So I think I think that should be a mistake to be corrected. I think that's a mistake.
Okay. All right, thank you.
But they will class on Saturday.
I heard so.
Be aware of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
No problem, sir. No problem. All right. Please, let's
overnight.
Sorry, what did you say? I didn't get it.
I said Saturday will be a crossover night now.
It might be a long class, believe me. It might be
crossover night.
We have to write lots of code. We have to write lots of code.
I also suggest that Saturday as well. We can also make use of something that is not like cumbersome, to make us understand the whole process and everything.
Okay. All right then. I'll find something more simple. All right. Please tell your people to submit their tasks. Please let them not run away from Django. Django is a very interesting language. It's a very interesting framework. Sorry. Please tell them to submit their tasks.
On tomorrow.
Sir, I wanted to ask a question. Okay. I wanted to ask that if someone has not completed his tasks so that the link won't be closed, and the person submits, then keep on updating, completing its project.
Yes, please. In fact, I recommend that way. Submit it, and then you can keep on updating if you find any error. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You have to do it before I get to your work. You have to update it before I get to your work. So I can, because when I get there, I'll get what I see. Okay, as hand. So if you
give us a day at least. On Friday, we can start marking. It was Thursday to prepare.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, but today is last day of submission.
I'm not aware of that, but if today is last day, please let's inform people. Let them submit their tasks, please. Like, honestly, the submission number is few. I don't know what to do here. Django is interesting. To be honest with you, Django is really interesting. But if name boss of brain, the average amount you get for a Django, the average energy, the energy you put into a site using Django is way smaller than the amount that you charge. Like, to be honest with you, to tell you how interesting Django is, the energy you put in to build a site with Django, it's way smaller compared to the amount you can charge. Okay, so please tell them to come back to Django, please. Okay, so in the absence of any other question and any other information or suggestion or contribution, we'll end our class for today. We'll see in our Saturday's class, and then we'll continue. Okay, good night all.
Good night.
Yes, sir. Good night, sir.
Good night.